Welcome to the Cannabis Equipment News Podcast.
Hi, I'm David Manti, and welcome to a new episode of the Cannabis Equipment News Podcast. With me this week is Alex Morton and Charles Warner. They're with STM Canna. Thank you very much for joining me today, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you, David.
All right, before we get started, please make sure to like, share, and subscribe to the podcast. You could also help us out a lot by leaving the podcast a positive review on whatever platform you use. Finally, if you want to email the podcast, you can reach me at david@cannabisequipmentnews.com. I always like to get a start to learn a little bit about where you guys came from. So, Charles, I'll start with you. What was it that brought you to the cannabis industry?
Yeah, it's a great question. I'm a magazine publisher originally and was doing technology magazines and covering things like STEM and sustainability. But because I'm involved with STM Canna and have been since its inception, we kind of realized that there was an opportunity to create a publication that covered the tech in the cannabis side. So that was what kind of got my feet in the door, was making Cannabis Tech Today, which is one of the top publications that covers all the tech. And of course, STM Canna has really great tech. So there was a natural fit there.
What other publications did you work on that you talk about STEM, stuff like that? Were you doing design engineering magazines?
Sort of. So I started actually with sports publications and was working on like college bowl game programs, the World Series, which is going on right now, the Super Bowl. So lots of real high profile events. We learned to make really good quality publications around events. And then, probably like about 7 or 8 years ago, transitioned over to technology, and we do innovation and tech today, residential tech today. We've got a STEM and sustainability. And one of our hottest magazines is Cannabis and Tech Today.
I mean, understandable. It's the entire industry. And it's I always like to see this on the publishing side. When an industry is kind of really early on and starts getting really hot, you see all the publications pop up. No, it's a really fun space to be in.
People ask all the time, though. They're like, tech, what does tech have to do with cannabis? And I'm like, oh, man.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even some people in the industry, right? There's a lot of apprehension, or people are a little reticent when it comes to embracing technology just because of how we've always done things.
Yeah, 100%. But we try to make it very easily digestible. So even people that are like, I'm not really into tech, they can, kind of ease their way in and see that there is a lot of innovation and tech and science in what we do in the cannabis industry.
Alex, what was it that brought you to the cannabis industry?
Yeah, so I was actually starting my own company. I was developing an application for, believe it or not, food industry workers to pick up seasonal jobs. And I was pitching the idea around a lot of different entrepreneurial sort of sectors in my city. And I became the owner, Nate Lipton of GrowersHouse.com, was one of my business mentors for this other application that I was creating and business I was creating. And the more me and him hung out and worked together, the more I became enamored with his business and the cannabis industry in general. And I've always had a passion for it to begin with. So long story short, he offered me a really awesome job, and I basically, with Nick Morton, became the first salesperson for CannaCribs, which is a YouTube series, kind of like the MTV Cribs of cannabis. Oh, right. So then I got involved with selling marketing in that show to all sorts of ancillary cannabis companies, the producers, the processors. I was talking to literally pretty much everyone in the industry, from the owners of cocoa core companies to the owners of STM Canna. And STM was actually one of my clients. We kept seeing them in a lot of our facilities for their joint pre-roll production, and became good friends with some of the people over here at STM, and just fell in love with the company, fell in love with the tech. And eventually they offered me a really great job, and I wanted remote work, and CannaCribs was not so much remote. So it was a good fit for me, and I've been here for 3 years ever since. Actually, 3 years now, and just love it.
Charles, how long have you been with STM Canna? Did you help found the company?
Yeah, so I was one of the initial, I think maybe 4 three or four people, like in the very beginning. And our company, you know, like many of them in the space, we sort of started one direction, and then sort of, it was kind of like ready, fire, aim, you know, this is what we're going to do. And, you know, we were looking at in the beginning, we were going to be like, you know, handle like mobile trimming. And then we had like a rosin press. And so, you know, we had all these great ideas, but it was just a matter of kind of finding where we were going to fit in and how the timing was going to be right. You know, ironically enough, rosin press seems like a great idea right now, but it was a little ahead of its time, you know, 5 years ago. So, you know, eventually the pre-roll became where we sort of settled on, and you know, little did we know at the time that it would become, you know, probably the second biggest category in the cannabis space. So we really dialed in on the tech and the innovation to help make it easier for people to produce really super high quality pre-rolls.
When was STM founded, and what were some of those like stops and starts like, you know, at what points did you realize, you know, you had to pivot away from the rosin press, or you had to pivot away from other things and move into pre-rolls?
Yeah, I mean, we've been around, you know, for a few years, probably what, Alex, like 5, 6?
Yeah, I want to say 2017 was the first year, 2018. And then it's been, you know, ever since the kind of advent of the rocket box, that's been our go-to, our bread and butter. And I think that was 2018.
Yeah, the rocket box, we really took off with that, pun intended. And, you know, we just kind of realized we had this really amazing rosin press, but there wasn't a big market for a, you know, $10,000 rosin press. So you have to kind of go where the demand is, and, you know, where you can help the most people. And we started seeing that pre-rolls was really something that was, you know, labor intensive. And it was something that, you know, if we could help automate and we could help people make better quality pre-rolls, you know, using our technology and our kind of mad scientists back in Spokane, that became our, you know, really our calling card.
Who's the mad scientist?
That's Jason Dueweke. He is he's our CEO, and he's also, you know, basically the chief engineer behind all of this stuff. He's like a lot of the other people in this space where, you know, he comes up with an idea and he gets on his computer and kind of locks himself away for a little bit. Next thing you know, he's got, you know, prototypes in 3D mode and everything. And it blows me away the way he's able to, you know, go and kind of apply his engineering training and his background to produce stuff that works really well.
Is it, you know, sometimes with an engineering background, is it sometimes difficult, you know, when you had to move away from the rosin press, just because as an engineer, when you create something, I mean, you automatically think it's the best thing ever created. And sometimes it's hard to let those projects kind of go by the wayside. You know, was it difficult to kind of make the hard choices as you moved in different directions?
I don't want to speak for him, but I think that once we realized, you know, the market wasn't ready for the rosin press, you know, at that price point, and sales was like, hey, you know, this is hard to sell. I think it was easier to move away from it. And like I said, maybe we were a little ahead of our time, because right now it seems to be the really big thing in pre-rolls and, you know, edibles and everything like that is live rosin, live resin. You know, that seems to be kind of like the hot thing right now. So, but yeah, it was, you know, I think it was just a matter of, you know, again, it wasn't quite the right time. And so honestly, the way that these brilliant people can turn around, you know, I was just in, Alex and I were just in Berlin, and we were at the ICBC, and we were talking to some people, and you know how your sleep is all off when you're over there, like there's like a serious, like, you know, you're trying to go to sleep at night, but the time zone has got you all messed up. And, you know, we were talking to people that are like, yeah, I went to bed, couldn't sleep. And, you know, so I just invented a machine and, you know, spent a few hours in doing it. So that's the way these engineers' minds are. You know, I feel like, when they sit down and they kind of focus on it, they can really whip out some amazing stuff, you know, using their software and, you know, whatever the mad scientists do. And that's kind of the way that, you know, Jason and our team is at STM.
Alex, so where does STM Canna fit in the industry now? What are the core products that are sort of the company's bread and butter?
Yeah, sure. Great question. So, I mean, there's really 4 aspects to making pre-rolls. You need to grind the material first. You need to fill it in a cone. You need to weigh them, and then you need to close the ends of them. So we're really looking to make, cover all those bases. So I would say our bread and butter is the Rocket Box. It always will be. It's kind of like, Kleenex. People don't even call tissues tissues. They call them Kleenexes. It's the same with us. They know us by the Rocket Box. That's really, like Chuck said, our calling card. And that's the most vital part about making pre-rolls. That's the machine that literally fills them. So there's that. But we do cover all the other bases. We have 2 grinders, big and small. We have 2 pre-roll filling machines, big and small. And then we have just the 2 newest machines that launched last year at MJ BizCon was our Launchpad weighing module that weighs 72 joints in a matter of like 10 seconds. And then our automatic closing machine called the Atomic Closer. And that's kind of the complete turnkey system of grinding, filling, weighing, closing. And where we fit, I would say that is our most unique part of us. We have this modular design, meaning a lot of our clients will just start with one of our mini Rocket Boxes, which is our small pre-roll filling machine. But it's a small entry price. You get your ROI really, really quickly with it. It's a total workhorse. Stainless steel is super easy to clean, busts out 143 joints every 45 seconds. So it really, really moves. And our customers will start small and then go, oh, now I have some cash that I can reinvest into this process that's making us money. Let's get the closing machine. Let's get the weighing machine. Let's get the better grinder instead of let's scale up from the blender, the Ninja blender that we're using that we bought at Walmart. So that's the coolest part about our company. And that's where a lot of people, their ears perk up, because you don't have to come in at $250,000 or $500,000 to have this big, huge automated machine and have 12 people running it and a huge warehouse to house it. You can have a small, almost the size of a closet with one person working and have an actual pre-roll company with our equipment, and then scale it up as you need to scale your company without huge upfront costs. So if you look at that model compared to our competition, you won't find anyone else like us. There's basically huge upfront costs with fully automated machines, or there's very entry-level pre-roll machines that are not scalable at all under us. So we kind of carved out this beautiful little section of the pre-roll niche that way.
Are all the oh, sorry, go ahead, Charles.
Yeah, no, I was just going to add to it. I think that's kind of like 3 of the best features about, where we are in our niche is, like he said, we're modular. The stuff is backwards compatible. So even if they have some older equipment, it works with this right here. It's not going to be obsolete. We're not like, Apple or something like that where, this stuff doesn't work. And yeah, I think that we've really carved out a nice niche. Like Alex said, it's not entry level stuff. It's also not, you're not looking at, 6 figures or, $250,000, but in that space, we feel like there's a really good value point for the people here. And I think that seems to be a place that we've really settled in.
Is every product name related to rockets or some sort of space-oriented item?
Yeah, kind of. I mean, so our grinder is called the Revolution grinder. So that's probably the one that kind of, but even then, it's still got that cool mechanical movement revolutions going. And then the Rocket Box, of course, the Launchpad weigher, the Atomic Closer. The Atomic Closer, I don't know, Chuck. What do you think? Does that have a rocket? It's a science sort of.
It's all sciencey, revolution, everything in space, revolves. Yeah. And so it's kind of been our theme, because we sort of feel like that, we are truly a technology company, and our products, they're a little bit, kind of space age, a little bit advanced, I mean, we were even in Berlin, we were calling our machines droids. It's almost like having a droid that can, having a droid that can help you make pre-rolls. And, it almost, even our advertising campaign that we've got going right now is like, meet your next best employee. And, we've got a bunch of ads where it's like employee of the month, the Rocket Box, or employee of the month. And that's because we're literally talking to people that used to have 9 employees on their pre-roll line. Once they've got the Atomic Closer, they got 5. So it truly is, like and by the way, hiring's not easy right now. Finding good labor is a little bit tricky in this market. So to be able to have, droids or machines that are dependable like this, I think is it's a very good option for people out there right now.
I think it keeps it a little bit more fun too. You could have easily named everything the STM 135, but
everybody likes
um,
droids.
when you work with an initial client that kind of comes into the door looking for a rocket box, do you sort of draw up a plan as to how they could scale up? Like, okay, you want to start here, but this is how we can easily scale with your business to further automate the process?
Yeah, absolutely. It all starts with just understanding your clients. So, where they are now, where they want to be, where they see themselves in a year, 2 years, whatever it may be. My philosophy as a salesperson is never to build on trust and honesty and transparency. And I think the company as a whole does a really good job of that in general. But, you don't want to sell somebody a big fancy machine that's overkill for the first 2 years they're making joints. So just having an honest conversation. Hey, how many joints are you looking to make per day or per week or per month, whatever that metric is? In what sizes? Are we doing dog walkers? Are we doing big king size joints? Those two questions alone will inform, okay, they only need the mini rocket box and just a couple extra trays in order to diversify the sizes coming out of it. And then, hey, look, you can come in with this package, and if you scale up, let's say you want to make 10,000 a week today, but you want to get to 25,000 a week in 6 months, this is how we can do it, just with simple accessories. You don't need a big new machine. This plan is going to work for you all the way up to there. And that's really, what saves them so much money and honestly time and headaches. So yeah, definitely getting that intel and painting them a picture of how it could be, how many employees it's going to take, how much time it's going to take. Some companies want to make a ton of joints 1 day a week. Other companies want to have their machine running 7 days a week. So it's really just knowing what they want to do and dialing in the right equipment for their needs.
If you could recommend one of those two, working at 1 day a week or working it constantly throughout the week, which do you think is the best process?
Personally, I would rather just do a whole bunch in one time.
Yeah.
But everyone's different, it's just when you think about labor, everything that we do has to do with mitigating labor costs, right? Mm-hmm. So whether it's just how easy it is to clean our equipment at the end of the day, that's labor cost at the end of the day. Like Chuck said, we have clients that went from 9-10 employees making infused pre-rolls down to 5 employees after buying one of our atomic closers. So when I look at it, I always want to ask those questions, like how much labor are you willing to put into this? Do you want to see your employees multitasking? And look, you can have these employees just focus on pre-rolls 5 days a week, whatever it is. Or you can have this group of people, a larger group, come in, focus on pre-rolls on Mondays, and then not do them for the rest of the week. And now your pre-roll group can be doing multitasking on several other outlets. So again, it's a personal choice and it's up to the business. Some companies are strictly pro companies. That's all they do. So it's so different. Some are just producers that are getting into it. Some are dispensaries making pre-rolls. Some are processors that are doing concentrates, pre-rolls, production, you name it. So it's really just it's just finding. And the cool thing about our equipment is we have a solution for everyone. We have solutions for the big, huge companies doing hundreds of thousands of joints a week, all the way down to the small mom and pop shops that are just busting out 100 joints a day and CBD joints. So like we serve everyone and have a solution for everybody.
Yeah, and I just wanted to add one thing too, is that our company STM is growing like a weed. And we've just moved into a new production facility. We've just brought on a bunch more people. And a lot of that stems from the fact that this feedback that Alex and, our sales team gets, this kind of needs assessment, it makes it all the way back to R&D. It makes it all the way back, to where we constantly have more machines. I was kind of joking that, you can just invent a machine in one night, but, we have a bunch more machines that are ready to roll, when the time is right, based on feedback and based on, information that these guys are gathering out there. So it's kind of cool to know that we're not just resting on our laurels. We're not just, sitting on what we've got. We're looking to constantly innovate, and we're listening to what the people that are in the space, the ones that are in the trenches making pre-rolls, what they're saying. And that feedback is getting all the way back, to our R&D department, where they're like, okay, cool. How can we tackle the next challenge? So it feels good to be with a company and to work with a company that's kind of, taking care of everything right now and doing it the right way, but also has an eye towards, what maybe is coming up next, almost anticipating needs. And that comes from the good relationships that Alex and, Cam and everybody else has with our Tarek and Ben. And I mean, we've got a really, really great sales team that is very, like what Alex said, just very committed to making sure we can find the right solution for each person. Cause I feel like every situation's different.
Charles, what is some of the feedback you've received, and what has that led to in terms of new features that you've seen on your machines?
Yeah, I think that, we take that feedback, good and bad, and we use it, we work with it. I mean, what do you think, Alex? Is there some changes? Yeah.
Sure. So, I mean, just a couple off the top of my head. I mean, before the advent of the weigher and the closer, that was the biggest feedback we ever got. When are you guys going to create something that automates weighing and closing these joints? It's the biggest bottleneck of workflow. It only takes a minute to fill 500 joints, but then it takes an hour to weigh and close them all. So, they heard that. Of course, those pieces of equipment had a ton of research and development and time and energy that went into the creation of those things. But that's just one thing. That's an obvious one. Some other things are like the ability to dial in. So there's in our components of our machine, the bottom tray is the one that holds the pre-roll cone. The top tray fits into it kind of like a funnel. And people wanted to be able to heighten and lower the top tray, adjust the top tray so it can fill down further or up further in the pre-roll cone. We made one. So, just like anything, Jason is
features too. Yeah, features as well. Like, we used to have a touch screen that was separate, from the Rocket Box, and then it was, created to be on there. So you didn't have, something kind of sticking out. So it was functionality, improving the design based on feedback. And so that's where, this feedback loop is super valuable. And our company has always been really receptive. Some companies are like, oh, we don't want to hear that, whatever. No, we're like, yeah, man, bring it to us. Let us know. And, maybe there's a way that we can even improve the design, or that we can make it even, more user-friendly, because that's the ultimate goal. And
yeah, like to piggyback off what Chuck was saying too about reverse compatibility. So like Apple, iPhone, whatever, 13, then you get it, and then the 14 comes out, eventually your 13 is obsolete. We're the exact opposite. Like, we have companies that are using our OG Rocket Boxes from 2017 that we now have created retrofit kits to turn it from the Rocket Box OG to the Rocket Box 2.0. We have adapter kits that can go in line for our newer innovations that are going to be coming out. We're always coming out with new innovations to further automate it. Like, we have a new, our newest product coming out. We're launching it at MJ BizCon, or the first kind of bit of marketing and just like knowledge coming out about it is called the JoJo, which is our automatic cone loader. So right now it's a manual task to drop cones into our bottom tray. And that's no longer the case. So we're always, what can we do better? What can we mitigate more labor? How can we help these guys control their overhead costs so their profit margins are higher at the end of the day? You can't control the weather. You can't control the price of marijuana in your state, but you can control how much labor you put into making your pre-rolls. So it is very important. And like I said, Jason's mind's always going with that feedback loop's always having to do with that with our sales team and our customer service department, seeing little gaps or holes that we can fill with better equipment. We're always putting that kind of stuff out. And we're right now, of course, fully focused on the pre-roll niche, but that doesn't mean we're a pre-roll company. Jason is an innovator, and we're going to always sell innovations to the cannabis space. So, and that feedback loop is everything. To inform.
Something else too that I think is a real pain point that we've kind of tried to take the lead on is supply chain issues. There's a lot of manufacturers out there that are, if they're sourcing from places overseas, or if they're sourcing from somewhere where they can't get stuff, which, as we all know right now, there's stuff you can't get. What we've done at STM is actually brought a lot of stuff in-house and brought a lot of machines in-house so that we could manufacture our own stuff and eliminate some of that gap in the supply chain, which means when, Alex works with all kinds of our channel partners and distributors and stuff like that, when they take orders, they have to know that they can fulfill them, right, in a reasonable amount of time. And by us bringing more processes and more machines and more raw materials in-house, it's allowed us to continue to make sure our products are available, and then we don't have those big gaps. And so, we're getting better and better at having shorter lead times and having more stuff available. And as everybody knows, listening to this right now, there's certain products out there. If you try to get, I don't even think you can get a PlayStation 5 right now still, there's chip shortages and there's lots of stuff. So I think that that's a really cool thing that we have done, was to try to, work around that supply chain thing by making sure that we have more stuff in-house and that we cut out more middlemen, and make it sure that we can fulfill orders faster and not sacrifice quality.
So was STM previously working with like contract manufacturers or third-party manufacturers to make the equipment?
Well, not the equipment, just like raw materials, certain
okay.
things that you might need that go into the equipment, maybe like some, little components and things like that. But no, everything is 100%, created by us. It's made, Spokane, Washington, which is where my hometown. We're a veteran owned company. Like Alex was saying earlier, this is all like food grade stuff. This is, it's super high quality materials that is something people can be proud of investing in their business. And so, yeah, everything is all manufactured by us. We were sourcing different components from different places, and we've eliminated a lot of that outside sourcing where we could.
No, that was the next thing I wanted to ask about was the supply chain. Were you running into supply chain issues and then you just decided to buy in bulk, or did you have the foresight to kind of get ahead of it to make sure you had stuff on the shelves as you were manufacturing new machines?
Yeah. Wouldn't you say, Alex, kind of both?
Yeah, a little bit of both. I mean, the whole world underwent what it went through with the supply chain, over the last 18 months, 2 years, whatever it is. But we, as far as like how we dealt with it, was super creative. The prices of everything started to skyrocket. Our vendors started to have their own supply chain issues. So, I personally, I'm being on the front end of things. All I could tell you is that our lead times never got bad, and we found creative ways to constantly keep our products going out every 2 to 3 weeks. And if you look at, like Chuck said, you can't get a PS5 right now. There's so many, like, car dealerships just like 6 months ago were empty, and yet STM Canna, this startup in Spokane, Washington, was pumping out our machines that we make with our own hands, bend the steel, make the circuit connections, are coming out every 2 to 3 weeks. So I don't know what kind of wizardry went on in the back of the house of STM, but they got really, really creative. They resourced tons of raw materials from creative ways, new vendors, and did start buying a lot in bulk so that we could mitigate these issues before they started cropping up. And that is a huge selling point, like people will be mulling around the thought of an expensive pre-roll machine could be 6 months, 7 months. And then the second they need one, they need it yesterday. They don't like hearing that there's a 4-week lead time. So that's huge for us, being able to say, hey, we have these in stock, or the latest it's going to be is 2 to 3 weeks. That's music to their ears. So it was really big for us to be able to, get over that hurdle.
Alex, you had mentioned something called a dog walker. What's that?
So the dog walker, that is the newest, hottest commodity in retail, I would say. So their dog walker joints are the smallest joints that are made. They're usually made in like a 70 mil cone, and they usually weigh anywhere between 0.25 or a quarter gram to like 0.35. And they started coming out during COVID, and I think it's kind of hit a chord with everybody because no one wanted to pass joints around anymore. So they were like little solo, walk the dog, go out for 15 minutes, come back, that sort of thing. And they're just, consumer behavior dominates. Like, I don't know why, but they sell, and they sell a lot. So
I could tell you personally from my experience, like, I'm not going to smoke a whole joint. I'm not going to smoke a 1 gram. I'm not built like that. I'm not ready for that. And so, if I smoke, a third of it, then I got to put it out. Right. And so, then I got to store it. And then I think the dog walker eliminated that. And it was kind of like a single use, like you're good to go per person. And so I think it's kind of like the fun size, right? Like, you go trick or treating, you got the fun size Snickers. It's like the fun size joints.
Right. I mean, it's all about taking care of the parents during trick or treating now, and they're handing out the shooters. Next is the dog walkers. We got to upgrade to the dog walkers.
Coming soon.
I wanted to talk a little bit about ROI, because when you're discussing taking, 9 people running a process going down to 5, I have to imagine that the ROI on some of your machines is pretty quick.
Absolutely. Yeah. So again, it has to do with the production capacity, but starting small, we see we see a mini rocket box. Mini rocket box cost $6,600. And if you go to your local dispensary, you see how much pre-rolls cost, usually anywhere between 10, 15, some of the luxury ones, $20. So if you could quickly do the math, like they don't take too much time. They make 143 joints every 45 seconds, and they're all selling for $10 a pop. These things don't take very long. I mean, seriously, a week or 2 of running, you get your money back on a mini rocket box. When you're looking at our full turnkey system, and when I say turnkey, it's combining those 4 categories. You get a full big Revolution 2.0 grinder, you get a Rocket Box 2.0 big pre-roll machine. You can also choose a different turnkey with mini rocket boxes, and then our launchpad weigher and closer. That retails around $120K. We do bundle deals on those packages too, but even for something like that, it's the same thing, because those companies are already producing hundreds of thousands of joints, so they see their ROI the same, in the same way, just a couple weeks, a month, maybe 2 months max. I can't imagine it being any more than that, even on the high end of things.
Yeah, so, and I was just going to say, and don't forget too, you've got back on the labor front, if you're using less people, and it's hard to find, there's a kind of an odd hiring market out there right now. And there's, finding good work, and people that want to work nights and weekends and, holidays and stuff might not be there, but these machines, you can really count on. So if you're able to reduce your overhead on the labor side, to combine that with the fact that you're producing, really good, and let's be really clear here. We're not just talking about cranking out pre-rolls. We're talking about like award-winning pre-rolls, like Lions Lab. They won a Cannabis Cup in Michigan for their pre-rolls. They have infused pre-rolls, and they use the atomic closer. They use our equipment, and they flat out are making award-winning pre-rolls. So it's not just about mass producing subpar pre-rolls. I want to make that really clear. Like these are the kinds that you can be super proud of, to put your name on, and they're they're automated, they're coming out fast, and they're award winning. So I think that's an important thing to recognize, is that they're all, they're very what's the word I'm looking for, Alex? They're to spec, they're like, you've got those crowns that are just like perfect on there. And they're really, really good looking joints. Some machines make joints that aren't pretty.
Well,
Yeah,
you talk about
absolutely.
You talk about it being to spec. I mean, being within sort of tolerance is a big issue for the industry. So, I mean, it's not just looking pretty, but making sure that what you have on the label is what's in the package. That's very important to manufacturers.
Yeah, and it's got to weigh,
Mhm.
right? It's got to be right in that variance, depending on where you are, what jurisdiction, because otherwise, if it doesn't, you're back to the drawing board.
Right. Sorry,
Yeah.
Alex, what were you saying?
And yeah, no worries. A lot of companies are, pre-rolls are I think the second hottest selling commodity at retail shops in North America right now. So I mean, it's your calling card, right? A lot of people are buying these, a lot of people are smoking these, and a lot of companies are putting their logo right on the tip. And if the being that kind of volume of people using this, they're gonna, if it's a crappy joint, they're never gonna buy it. There's so many options, so they're always gonna go back to the one that they like better, that smokes better, that smokes more evenly around, instead of canoeing more so on one side than the other, or has a weak neck. When you put it in your mouth, it just falls down like Farmer Dan's like a wheat thing coming out of his mouth. It's like you want a really nice integrity, like the integrity of the structure looks perfect. It looks like it came out of a machine. It doesn't look like a arts and crafts class major joints. It looks like factory made. So it's your calling card, it's your business. What you put inside of it, if it doesn't taste good or it doesn't smoke right, that's not good, and you need good equipment for that. So we're able to bring everyone's pre-roll game up for that reason.
Is your equipment cone manufacturer agnostic, or can it only work with specific manufacturers?
So agnostic. Yeah, definitely agnostic. However, there's very standardized sizes with pre-rolls. So we definitely we want to make equipment that fits all those very generic sized pre-rolls. We always recommend a reliable cone manufacturer that you've heard of before. There's a lot of kind of, like fake knockoff brands coming out of overseas. So you definitely, you pay for what you get. It goes for cones too, and goes for our equipment. If you're looking to make really good quality cones, we encourage you to buy cones off a reliable source. Like one of our biggest partners right now is Zigzag. Everyone knows that company, and they put out really, really good quality pre-rolls. Cones, they're really, they work great in our equipment, and our clients love them. So yeah, I mean, agnostic to a degree, I guess, is the long and short answer to that.
Charles, with opening a new production facility and the worker shortages that many people are experiencing, are you guys having any issues with staffing?
No, I think we've been pretty fortunate. I mean, it hasn't been a cakewalk by any stretch of the imagination. Like, I think we had last week, we had two new people that were starting, and then one last minute was like, oh, they gave me a whole bunch of money to stay here. So, we got 1 out of 2, but we've got a pretty strong pipeline, I think, where we're constantly looking for talent, and we've been an attractive place to work. We just we're proud. We entered one of the magazines out there. I think it was MG, best places to work. And we had several employees that, talked about why they liked working at STM. And I mean, our company's really generous, I mean, as far as benefits and stuff like that, like health insurance, 401k, like, a lot of companies don't offer that stuff out there. We really do. And I've noticed, ever since I've been at that company, we really care about our employees. And I think that's a big factor in being able to hire is that we reinvest not only in our machines and our R&D, but in our people. And I think that probably our, besides the mad scientists that create all this, it really is about our people. Our people really care, all the way from the ones that are putting the machines together to the sales team. We've got a customer service department that, client services that absolutely bends over backwards to take care of, people, service after the sale. So I think the whole thing put together makes it a fairly attractive place to work. So we've been pretty fortunate in being able to attract and retain good talent. But like I said, it's not perfect. I think we still are looking to bring on some more people. So if you're talented and you're in the space and you're interested in coming to STM, give us a shout. But we've been able to kind of fill the spots and grow as we've needed to be, even in sort of a difficult time, time period.
Well, I think the retention speaks loudly about the company, almost more than attracting new talent. Because one thing I've noticed about the cannabis industry is there are a lot of people that want to get involved in the cannabis industry, but not necessarily work in the cannabis industry. But finding good talent and making sure that you retain them in a very competitive marketplace, I think that speaks volumes about the company.
And haven't you also noticed some people leaving? Right? Like some people are just like, I'm done. Like, I've been here. It's a mess. There's some people that are just like, I'm just gonna, so there is kind of that revolving door of people that want to come in, some people that have maybe had enough. But yeah, no, I feel really proud of the way that STM does take care of their people and the way that they've, offered benefits and things like that they don't have to, aggressive matching on 401k and stuff that I think is, it's helped us attract good talent. And I pretty proud of that.
On the other side of the business, Alex, how does STM Canna compete against some of the other pre-roll automation competitors in the marketplace?
Just getting our name out there, we offer something so different. The whole modular approach to pre-rolls is so vastly different than any of our competitors that we really just stand out in that way. And then from there on out, it's just brand recognition, being at the big shows, talking, having a sales team that's hitting the phones and the emails, getting our name out there as much as possible with all these bigger companies, getting on the phone with them, introducing us. And to be dead honest with you, some of our competitors, they're like frenemies, we're thankful they're there. Like the Knockbox was the number one pre-roll machine. People didn't even think twice. 99% of our clients realize that the Knockbox isn't scalable and need something different from there. So thank you for bringing them in and getting them making pre-rolls and then going, oh crap, I need something bigger and more powerful for the future of my business. They still have a great place in the market. And the Knockbox is always going to have a place in the market. So like stuff like that, like, we're competing against them, but at the same time, we're sharing all the same clients and we're just watching them grow. So as far as like that kind of competition is there, and then with these the other side of the competition is just fully automated machines, which is literally just one machine enclosed that does several different functionalities, 5, 7, 10 different functionalities. Whereas we modulate them, we separate them out. We're just apples to oranges. You can't even compare, them to us or us to them. You can compare the amount of money and labor is going to go into each one. And again, that's how we would compete with them, is just we come in at such a less burdensome entry level way, instead of having to put all of your eggs in one basket and then cross your fingers and hope that service or maintenance or overseas customer service isn't going to bite you down the line. So,
and there's still
we
the
just
output.
offer something so different.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
sorry,
and I was just gonna to add to what Alex said is, numbers don't lie, right? Our output and the number that we can close in under a minute and things like that, like those are, we went to the Guinness Book of World Records because we wanted the atomic closer to get the Guinness Book of World. I was salivating to put that in marketing and everything like that, and it turns out they don't do any kind of records with anything at all with cannabis. Which is ironic because it's run by a beer company. But we really wanted to get that sort of badge of honor and put it up against in friendly competition anything else out there. So maybe one day in the future at MJ Biz we can have have like a roll off, or like we can have a little, a little showdown and see who can put out the most stuff. But I think that, like Alex says, every brand that's out there is helping, with pre-rolls. And I think that everybody's got their place in the space. And so we look at most of them all as just kind of like friendly competitors, but we all kind of get in where we fit in, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
like a roll off. A roll off at MJ Biz. I mean, please take my money now.
Yeah, that would be
in Alex, this corner.
Yeah,
the atomic closer.
Right. It's our industry's battle bots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alex, I know that we're running out of time here. One thing I wanted to ask about, though, that is important to our readers and listeners, is cleanability, service, and maintenance. What is STM's approach to those three categories?
So really simple. Everything we engineer is with that in mind, right? We know the trichomes, the stickiness, all that stuff is going to come into play. It's going to get on our equipment every day. So basically just the materials that we use are food grade. They're dishwasher safe, so they can withstand lots of heat. And the material, like I said, just the food grade materials are so friendly for cleaning in general. And then the way it's taken apart. So it doesn't matter if I'm talking about one of our grinders or one of our pre-roll machines, whatever it may be, it's literally always going to be a couple Allen screws, pop something out that needs to be cleaned, put it in isopropyl alcohol, dunk it. Most of our clients will just dunk it for whatever, if it's overnight or a few hours. And that's it. So, even our big grinder, you open up a door and pop 2 Allen keys out, and the filter screen can come out, and you could put another one in a matter of less than 30 seconds. So everything we make, everything we do is about user friendliness, and ease of use, and also just ease of cleanliness and how easy it is to wash this stuff off at the end of the day. So matter of minutes, you can clean any of our machine from top to bottom.
So what can CEN expect to see at MJ Biz from STM Canna?
Yeah, it's really exciting. So we have one of our bigger booths that we've ever had. We're going to have some of our technicians with us running full demos of each one of our machines. That's brand new for us. We've always been told you cannot make joints on the trade show floor, whether it's hemp or whatever. And then we get there and people are making them anyway. So we're just saying, screw it. We're going to do it this year. We're going to make joints. With our techs, we're going to have a demo. We have demo sign up links that are going out right now. So anybody that wants to sign up to get a one-on-one demo of our equipment at the booth, they can do that. And also on kind of what I'm doing is more on the channel distribution sales. We have a number of our partners that are also going to be at MJ Biz with their booths, and they're going to be displaying our machines too, which is exciting because instead of just seeing STM at one booth, our booth, you're going to see it scattered across the trade show floor. And actually that kind of parlays into what Chuck's doing for MJ Biz too. So Chuck, you're doing some fun stuff.
Yeah. We've got so with Cannabis and Tech Today, we've got a scavenger hunt going. So the magazine is going to be in all the media bins. We've got some articles, we've got some ads in there with STM stuff. And then the magazines are actually going to have little Willy Wonka golden tickets in them where we're going to have a prize pack. And there's going to be about $15,000 worth of prizes in there. One of them is going to be a Rocket Box Mini, which is kind of headlining it. National Cash giving away an ATM. So if you've ever wanted an ATM in your man cave or your dispensary, this is your chance. But yeah, there's going to be a little map. There's going to be the magazines will be situated throughout the event and at STM's booth. And yeah, so we've got some fun promotions. Our booth this year is, like Alex said, it's the biggest ever. It's a double decker. So we've got the upstairs for like, if you want to get away from the throngs of the crowds and everything like that and go set up a meeting, definitely reach out to us because we'd love to use that space up top, sit down and talk some business, do some needs assessment. And yeah, make sure you grab a copy of the publication there of Cannabis and Tech Today. And sign up for the golden ticket because it's totally free. Great prizes. I believe we've got got some cones from Zigzag we're going to be giving away. And so, yeah, we're trying to do some fun stuff and create a little bit of buzz while we also introduce new machines and try to get, new clients. And we do have, two sides of the business, right? We've got our direct sales, which works with everybody out there from, small to big. And then Alex, he quarterbacks kind of our whole channel side. And we've got some great partners out there. There's a laundry list of them that sell our products all across North America, actually around the world. And, we're looking to add more partners on that channel side as well. So yeah, hopefully MJ Biz is going to be a big hit this year, and we'll come away with lots of new friends and lots of people that are excited about STM.
No, we're really looking forward to it as well. So hopefully we get a chance to meet up and meet in person. And it's one thing that I really enjoy about this event is how excited people get for the event and how everyone kind of holds their cards a little close to their vest for the big splash at the show.
Yeah, definitely. It's always a blast, this show, and it's nice because we're scattered. As STM is scattered around the country. We have sales reps in Pennsylvania, in New Jersey. I'm in Arizona. Chuck's in Colorado. Our manufacturing facilities in Spokane. So getting the team together, we obviously work together every day and are in meetings all the time. So, but it's nice to be around each other too. And we do have some aces up our sleeve as well, David. We got some serious show specials that we haven't advertised yet, but they're going to be some of the best deals that we've ever given in the history of our company. Some serious value adds to some of our systems, as well as a product launch. Our automatic cone loader, we're going to be launching there as well. So it's always exciting. And every year it seems like especially last year was very pre-roll dominated. I mean, again, consumer behavior dominates these things, and pre-rolls are the second hottest selling thing. So everyone's looking for pre-roll equipment. And what we love about it is being right next to all of our competition and seeing how much we stand out. And people really, really, really seem to appreciate that and understand that, because a lot of these companies are making the same exact equipment with a different logo on it. And we're completely, like I said, apples to oranges. So it's always a fun time watching that kind of realization hit people that are walking the floor and going, oh, wow, you guys are so thinking differently and so creative out of the box. So that's always fun.
Chuck, outside of MJ Biz, what are some things that the CEN audience can expect from STM Canna, a little bit further in the future?
Yeah. So, like I said, we've got some more machines that are coming down the pike. Like Alex said, we're going to be offering some more bundles and accessories that are going to be coming with the machines. So I think that, that's something you can look forward to. We're really continuing to emphasize on our customer service, our service after the sale. And, like that on-site training used to be something that, could cost a little bit of money, is now going to be rolled into it and stuff like that. So it's included. So yeah, I think that what we're trying to do is adjust to what the consumers are asking and make sure that anybody that is working with us, we're setting them up for success, and again, continuing to innovate. So I think that I wouldn't be surprised if next year we have a couple new machines to come out and join our whole cadre of space and science themed machines. So yeah, people should be looking forward to that for sure.
Excellent. Well, Alex and Charles, thank you both for taking the time today. I really do appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you, man. And your background is amazing, dude. I love that.
That's you're making the video producers just very happy right now. Very happy. They worked really hard to put together the studio. We moved into a new space a couple years ago, and they worked really hard on the studio, and they're beaming right now.
It looks really, really sharp. So yeah, thanks so much for having us. And by the way, dude, just quick shout out to you, man. Going through your website and stuff like that, you guys have really, really good information, and you guys bring great content. And I've even seen, other people in our category on there. I've learned about other stuff. So yeah, shout out to CEN. You guys do a really, really good job. So thanks for having us.
Thank you very much. Sorry, the video producers just took a bow. I just want you guys to know. But no, again, like I said, I hope we have a chance to meet up at MJ Biz, and safe travels to you guys. I hope we get a chance to talk again soon.
Yeah, absolutely. And anybody listening, make sure you follow us on social. And if you've got any questions or you're interested in, setting up a demo or talking to us, just go to the website, stmcanna.com.
Yeah. And visit us at MJ Biz. We're at booth 7527. I don't know if you're going to remember that, but that is our booth. Look us up, STM Canna. Chuck and I will be there. Would love to meet as many people as possible, including you, David. It'd be nice to shake your hand and meet up there.
Excellent. Well, thanks again, guys. We'll talk to you again soon. Before we get out of here, please make sure to like, share, and subscribe to the podcast. You can also help us out a lot by leaving the podcast a positive review on whatever platform you use. If you want to email the podcast, you can reach me at david@cannabisequipmentnews.com. For Alex Morton and Charles Warner with STM Canna, I'm David Manti. This is the Cannabis Equipment News Podcast, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you for listening to the Cannabis Equipment News Podcast.